you're not on the field, court or ice, you're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, picking any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, Seawall, checking in as I do each and every week to give you the update and live discussion on all things dealing with the Washington Commanders. So, you all make sure you are logging in. Make sure you are sharing this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. This is all a part of the conversation that we love to have together before we get into it, because we got a full show, but don't we always? This is a live Bowie television recording. So we want to make sure if you have any comments, things you want to share, questions, you might have an opportunity to get your question on the Tizoob every day on Bowie Television. Verizon Fios is channel 11, and on Comcast Xfinity, it is channel 77. So make sure you all are tuned in there in case you don't get an opportunity to tune in live. But of course, live is always fun and engaging because, hey, listen, who doesn't like to have a live conversation about the Washington Commanders? So has everyone already checked in? Is everyone get your folks on? Because we have a lot to discuss. We already know that I see Mama Waller has checked in. She might have been the first person I saw check in. And I see that John Adams and Cameron Mingo and Mazdak have all checked in as well. You all definitely tag in your people to talk about the Commanders, because we're going to go all into conversation. We're going to do some kind of picture time, storytelling time of some of the players. We were just really excited and happy to see their performance despite the loss. We still were like, you know what? That's our person right there. That's one of our people right there. So we have a couple of players we want to show pictures of. We want to make sure we also dissect Coach Rivera's after game presser. So we're going to take some time to go through his presser as we have done in prior weeks. So you all make sure you're hitting that love button. Make sure you are dropping that fire emoji, because we are getting ready to get started. I see Damon and DJ have checked in as well. Make sure you get your folks in, because you know we want to take part of the conversation. So I would like for you all to start. It was a loss. And before we get into the loss, okay, because matter of fact, I wasn't going to play this game. But you know, sometimes it's good to play the what's your one word game. And it's good because I kind of just sometimes want to gauge where everyone is. So what is your one word to describe how you are feeling after the Commanders loss to the Minnesota Vikings? Let me know. Your one word. Cameron says competed. Any other one words you want to drop in the chat? Mazdak said he was disappointed. Okay. John Adams said he was hurt. Even Mama Wallace said disappointed. And Jessup said disappointing. Okay. So look, it was disappointing. For sure. I think it's a little bit of all of the above. Before we get into some of the positives, I wanted to share, and this is something that I was saying all last week. This is not the game. I see Joyce comment here, jilted. This was not the game to not have an impressive offensive effort. Okay, we saw yet again. What is one of the things I always tell you all? As long as you see improvement, you want to see improvement. That's important. And yet again, and I see John Adams has put this comment in the chat, the defense did more than enough for the Commanders to win that football game. They really did. And as I continue to say about any defense, the defense is only going to hold but for so long. This is an offensive-driven league. At some point, these high-powered offenses, they're going to score. They're going to score. And they're going to do just enough to beat you. I was talking to a couple of my media colleagues, and we said, this game, you have to stay at least 2 scores ahead. 2 scores ahead. And even when the Commanders seemed to have it, they didn't. They didn't. And that is a game where even with the 3-game win streak, this was a game that you were going to really know where you are. Where are you? What's measuring up? Now, the defense, they gave Kirk Cousins a time out there, but it didn't matter because Kirk Cousins was the one who was on the airplane celebrating with his shirt off and a bunch of chains around his neck, dancing, because he and his team were the ones that left FedEx Field with the victory. Okay. Kirk was really happy. If you all haven't seen the video, go and check out the video of Kirk Cousins dancing on that airplane with his shirt off. He was having Super Bowl vibes. He was really excited about that win. He really was. And they're a good football team. Is what I've been saying. But the defense is only going to hold for so long. This offense, it's got to be better. Got to be better. But before we get into all of the specifics of that, drop in the chat some of the players that you thought did well, that you've been impressed with, that you truly enjoyed watching. Drop some of those in the chat, and I'm going to see if those are some of the same players that Darrell Owens of Bowie TV has also captured, because we did have a little bit of fun. Definitely had a good time. So, and taking pictures. Darrell came up with some great ones. So definitely drop in the chat who you really said, wow. Or maybe you even want to see a little bit more of. That's always interesting as well. So, in no particular order, Armani Rogers. Did you all see that big run that Armani had in the game? I was sitting next to Darren Haynes from WUSA 9, and he was like, who is that receiver? He was so fast, he just jolted out there. And then the other question became, well, we got to find a way to get the ball in his hands more, because what a showing there for Armani. And we definitely want to see more than that, truly, because clearly he's capable of it. Listen, many of you are talking about Benjamin St. Juice, and we're going to definitely get to Benjamin St. Juice. Don't have a picture of him, but we're going to get to Benjamin St. Juice because that I hold that thought on Benjamin St. Juice. This guy right here, Deron Payne, is having a career year. I mean, can I get a love button or a fire emoji for Deron Payne? My goodness, he's just wow. I'm consistently just jaw dropping. Not that I'm shocked, not that I'm surprised, but again, it goes back to the point of improvement. You want to see where players are getting better. You want to see where units are getting better along the way. And let me tell you something right now, Deron Payne ain't come to play. He's not here to play with anybody at all. And I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. So super happy for him. So proud. It's just great to see and witness, because I think that it's fair enough for all of us to say we have seen Deron evolve and we've seen him get better. Superb, really superb. Here you'll see a picture of Jamin Davis high-fiving with Bobby McCain. We're going to keep giving Jamin his flowers. And Bobby gets some credit too. Bobby, sometimes he jumps on the scene. He's ready to go. He's covering his person and he's on the scene quickly. But Jamin, listen, again, we want to see what improvement. And I think we can all admit that we've seen an improvement in Jamin. Now, some of the challenges that I may have in terms of the linebacker position or things of that nature, recently it hasn't been about a person per se. It's been about the readiness of the defense for the opposing offense. That's been my comment there. But hey, other than that, shout out to Jamin for sure. Now, this was a fun moment that Darrell captured, and I just enjoyed it right there. Jeremy Reeves and Derek Forrest dapping each other up. Now, there was a blunder on special teams by Percy Butler on yesterday, but overall, still credit to the special teams. They're doing a good thing. Doing a very good thing. I wanted to do this picture here because you got Brian Robinson, and then you have in the distance there Antonio Gibson. Listen, Brian Robinson Jr. is still that complete back, I do believe, absolutely, wholeheartedly. I'm wanting to see a little bit more from a play calling perspective. Now, sometimes I wonder, did they bring Brian back too quickly? But overall, Brian practices well. He looks well. But I think there's still some other opportunities to continue to use him. But they got to get through and try to just understand that offensive line. So, these are my people right here. Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, when they started using him correctly. And oh, by the way, how many times, go ahead and drop a love button, fire emoji for all of the times that I have said that Antonio Gibson can absolutely be the punt returner, kick returner. We have to stop acting like a punt return job, a kick return job is a demotion. It is not a demotion. That is an opportunity to get your offense going. It is an opportunity to get excellent field position. And every time they utilize AG in that position, he does just that. Absolutely, still, he does just that. So, hey, shout out to both of them. Okay. Wanted to capture this moment as well. And this one kind of comes before this right now on the show is coming before another photo. But Logan Thomas embracing his quarterback and Taylor Heineke. I almost called him Tyler. And Taylor Heineke. It was truly a nice moment. All of the daps, all of the handshakes. You see Jonathan Allen there as well. This is when they were first coming out to the game. It's always a lot of fun to see these guys, because right before that moment, it was this moment when the defensive line and it came out. Taylor made sure he went over there and dapped up each one of the D linemen, and they all embraced, they hugged. It was really great, awesome to see. And then just Logan Thomas overall. I know there's still some opportunities. I know that Logan has been dealing with nagging injuries, but I still think that this is a player that we want to make sure is being leveraged and being utilized to his full potential. Still got a lot of value and a lot more that we can be seeing out of Logan Thomas, but he needs to be utilized in that way. I'm not saying it's on Logan. I'm saying that it's on the play call, but we're going to get to that in a moment. And then this picture here is straight up Terry McLaurin, because I said, Darrell, I said, get that picture of Terry. I said, Terry looking right over here. He's looking at the camera. And sure enough, he was looking right at the camera. This one might have to go on my personal page. I'm just going to be honest with you. This one right here of Terry McLaurin might absolutely have to go on my personal page. I saw some comments. We're going to go back to Benjamin St-Juste. And the reason why I really, really, really want to talk about Benjamin St-Juste is because that first touchdown by Justin Jefferson, that was when Benjamin St-Juste was in coverage. Good coverage, might I add. It was good coverage, but in that matchup, Justin Jefferson, he won. He won, and that winning of that resulted in a touchdown. But I will tell you this. Benjamin St-Juste must have said, this is not going to happen to me again. Because when they went to battle on that field, and these are for the plays you all saw on TV and the ones that you did not see on TV. I said, Benjamin St-Juste said, well, what will not happen is what happened earlier this afternoon. And even when the bad PI call on Benjamin St-Juste, when it was clear as day to me that he and Justin Jefferson, they were going at it. They should have just canceled each other out. They should not have called that PI. They were both tangled up on each other. Not a great call at all. But I was really proud of Benjamin. He really let people know who he was. He did a good job. I enjoyed it. I gotta admit, I definitely enjoyed it. So, Jordan, seeing that matchup and seeing BSJ's response. Yes, also Curtis Samuel. I think everybody put their head down when Taylor Heineke threw that football to Curtis when he was surrounded by purple and white jerseys. I think everybody just said, oh my gosh. But shout out to the ref. The ref helped make that play be exactly what it was. So, and Curtis went up and got it. But hey, I'm not going to sit up here and act like that referee in the way did not help, because the referee in the way absolutely helped. And Curtis Samuel said to the media in the scrum, he wasn't supposed to throw that. So he wasn't supposed to throw that. We just gonna leave that there. It worked out. Shout out to the ref. Terrence Brooks comment here, 25 is tough. Let me tell you, Benjamin St-Juste responded in the way you want your corner to respond. Okay, matchups, because here's the thing. Sometimes in matchups, you just get beat. You got beat. It was good coverage. He did all the right things. Justin Jefferson caught the football on that first touchdown. That's what happened. I mean, it wasn't Kirk trusted his receiver to get up and go up and get it, and he did. But listen, BSJ said, not no more. You're not gonna do it again. And he didn't. That was a beautiful matchup to watch. Justin Jefferson and Benjamin St-Juste. I'm smiling because they was over there balling for sure on that one. So it was just Whew. So I want to go and get into some of the comments that Coach Rivera shared in his after game presser. Hit the love button, drop the fire emoji if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, we're going to dissect it because he had a lot to say, as he always does. And we want to get into it, right? We want to absolutely get into it. So let's start off as Coach did. He sent his condolences and well wishes to Coach Joe Gibbs and his family on the loss of their son, Coy. Devastating news. So much that family has been through. So let's get into the video. Check it out here. And we split it up. So have time to talk about it, watch it, talk about it, and then go on to the next video.
Coach Gibbs and his family for the loss of his son, Coy. Very heartfelt condolences to Coach.
He had just too many mistakes to keep that 10-point lead, too many mistakes.
Yeah. It was. You know, we had some opportunities. We didn't take advantage of the opportunities. You know, there are enough mistakes to go around for everybody.
In that last sequence, what was the explanation you were given on the penalty and foul?
Well, on the you're talking about the interception or the
Ridgeway lining up over the
right. Well, from what we saw and what we looked like, you know, we teach the guy to go across the guy's face to get across, okay? And what we were told was he ran through the guy's head and neck area. I can't tell you whether he did or didn't. I mean, you guys have to tell me that. I didn't see the, you know, what it looked like on replay was he did his technique, went across. He didn't hit the guy blunt, you know, went across and the guy fell backwards. And so that's what he called.
Taylor had a bunch of high wire throws that some were concluding one to Curtis for the touchdown, but then the interceptions just playing traffic too much.
Yeah, he actually threw it high. If he brings that down, it's a completion. Hit him right in the chest, but unfortunately it got away from him. It was a little bit high.
He had a lot of passes batted down today. Was that what do you think the explanation was there?
Well, I think one thing is they were stymied at the line and just jumped. You know, I mean, if you look at him, I think only one was one where he pushed, the rush was pushed all the way into his face and got it knocked down. The other ones just looked like it was guys that were stymied at the line and jumped just as he was throwing the ball.
You only had the one timeout, but you opted not to use it in front of the 2-minute warning. Can you talk about that decision?
That's all about the analytics. I have a guy that's got the chart going through the numbers and using the numbers, and that's what happened. I mean, look what happened. I mean, if we don't get the foul, we get the ball back with a little under 2 minutes, right?
Sure.
So that, I mean, it pretty much worked the same.
I guess the counterpoint would be if you used it in front of, they would have thrown the incompletion, you would have had it back in front of.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was going to throw the ball and throw the incompletion. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, again, you know, we have a guy that's got all the charts upstairs, and charts said not to call the timeout.
All right. So first things first, I'm going to tell you immediately what I thought about. And it's something that I think I saw Eric Jessup say here. It's a rather simple fix. Defenses know that Taylor Heinicke lacks arm strength, right? When you are making him stay in the pocket, that's a defensive line's dream come true when dealing with Taylor Heinicke because he lacks arm strength. That's what's going to happen. So they need to call plays that support moving the pocket because that is where Taylor is strong. Don't make him throw. Don't make him throw. Don't. Unless he's got clear line of sight. Which when these players are looking at him and they know they've been waiting for it all day. That pick, that costly interception, They've been waiting on that all day. They've been waiting on it all day long. It was bound to happen, unfortunately. So every time you see the difference when the pocket is being moved, when he's able to be him, who he is, it works. Stop making him do something that it's not going to work. That's not where he's the best. Help him be his best self. I also want to go to that penalty on John Ridgway at the end of the game that was just, at that point, I was just like, oh, you go back and watch the replay. I don't know what they were talking about. So maybe that's just something that I have to get smart on myself, because I'm like, that's not a penalty. But hey, I'm not a referee. So those were the big takeaways from that part of it, because it all still points to play calling. Even with coach mentioning, he threw the ball high. Well, I didn't know he was going to throw it high. Well, I mean, right. But at that point, once they were ahead, control the clock, run the football, move the pocket. Then you don't have the risk. Because I'm gonna tell you that touchdown to Curtis Samuel, that was some luck. I said, oh, I don't know who's up there. Could be my girl Rhonda Rose. She's a big Commanders fan. Oh my goodness, because that was almost a debacle. And I said, hey, listen, they got away with one. That worked out. They got to play the rest of this game smart. Do what's working. That almost didn't work. I'm not saying don't do that again, because that was too much of a risk. But it worked. But once you get a pass on one risk, don't take another one. Don't take another one. But here we are discussing a Commanders loss. Okay, moving on to the next. Shall we continue? Because we're almost at time, but we can continue. Love button, fire emoji. You all let me know while I'm pulling the next video, because I feel as though folks want to continue. Oh, here we are. Definitely want to talk about this.
Ron, what was your initial reaction when Taylor threw that deep ball to Curtis Samuel that ended up being a touchdown?
Are you kidding me? I saw him throw it. I said, oh. And Curtis went out and got it. I mean, that's, but Curtis is doing the things that 2 years ago we thought he would do. Unfortunately, he was hurt last year. But that's the way young man plays. He plays all out. I thought a play that had a chance to pop was when we brought him inside and we ran that inside run with him. That speaks to his abilities, and we've got a number of playmakers that we got to be able to distribute the ball to these guys and give them chances.
And Heineke's kind of his play style, just for kind of teetering on the edge of risky, wise. Can you tamp that down? Can you control that, or is that just how he plays at this point?
Well, the hard part is because the throw he makes to Logan, if he brings it down, he might have been a little juiced up. He was charging forward, and then he tried to throw it, and if he could have just brought it down. It's a first down, and we're all going, wow, we've got a 7-point lead. The ball's at midfield, and you're feeling pretty good about it.
Last one.
How would you assess his 3 games so far that he's started?
A roller coaster ride, man. It's when you watch him and you watch him do the things that he does, when he's running the operation out there, he's very confident. He makes a lot of good decisions in terms of where to throw the ball. A couple times it comes out hot and high, but it's been well enough to give us a chance to win. 2 out of the last 3 games, obviously, and we got a big one coming up next week, so we'll get geared up for that.
All right. Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
cool. Thank you, guys.
So, and I kind of wanted to share another one of the videos as well. Wanted to show that one because that's kind of the notion, right? But hey, if the team wins, right, with all those risky throws, if that interception doesn't happen, I'm going to tell you, and you all drop in the chat what you think the difference in the game was. When did the game shift? You all drop in the chat where you think that game shifted. And I can tell you the bad PI on Benjamin St. Juste, that followed by the interception. And I felt so horrible about that interception because you play the rest of the game safe, because the Commanders had the Vikings on the ropes. They did. They had them on the ropes. It was obvious they were on the ropes. They had them exactly where they wanted him. Exactly where they wanted them. I mean, the defense was all over Kirk Cousins, and he's just been in the league now enough and long enough, meaning Kirk, where he's learned that resilience. He has, and they were taking him down. And he kept going, and part of that keep going, whether he would probably the victory dance in the airplane on the airplane showed you everything that you needed to know in terms of whether or not he really wanted to beat the Commanders yesterday. And Kirk Cousins really wanted to beat the Commanders on yesterday, and he did. And he is, whether folks like it or not, he is. When it depends on the type of team that you are. And he wasn't going to let him beat him. And they had the command, I'm telling you, and you all were watching, had them right where they wanted. And that's where you say, we're going to coast the rest of this out. Because, hey, listen, I love this right here. It's exactly right. They know they escaped. They know because they were on the ropes. Okay? They were ready. The team was ready. I was so proud of the defense. I'm telling you, and so that is a game when your defense plays as well as they did, that when the play calling doesn't support the strengths of your offensive players, that hurts. That hurts. Minnesota can score. I've told you all, a key to how Seawall does, how we do what we do in Seawall Sports and Entertainment, is we watch the division and we watch the regular season opponents. And Minnesota can score. The fact that they had held, Minnesota scored on that first drive, yes. And the defense said, you're not going to do nothing else. Not like that. That's not going to happen. We're going to shut you down. And the fact that they really only scored 20 points. The fact that they still only scored 20 points was huge. And I think we're about at time. I want to comment on the fans. FedEx Field hasn't jumped like that. I don't even know. It was just so electric. It was so riveting. And then when the team lost, I said, this fan base wants to win so bad. And despite all of the noise, this fan base showed up. They were there. And I might play this other video because I do think it's important, because Coach talked about the fans. It was unbelievable. I'm going to play this one because I do think this is important for you all to hear Coach say this.
What went into the challenge on the Taylor spin move scramble 3rd and 1?
We didn't think the knee was down. We thought he had extended enough to get the first down.
And knowing how you guys were playing right there, does maybe the 4th and 1 from the previous possession like factor in instead of wanting to just risk it, get the 3rd and 1 instead? Like, how do you balance challenging and whatever can happen after that, the implications, versus let's just try and pick up the 3rd and 1 regardless?
Well, that's exactly it, though. I mean, you sit there and you say, well, if we do it and you don't get it, then everybody's going to ask me, why didn't you challenge it? I mean, let's be honest about that. So that's why we did it.
I know hindsight is easy at this stage, but after the Ridgeway penalty and it's 1st and goal on the 2, do you give any thought to just letting them score?
We did, but they were going sideways. I mean, they were not going into the line of scrimmage, and that became very evident. So we told them, try and get the ball out, do the best you can, but they were not going towards the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, each game has its own story, but this was against an opponent coming in with a big winning streak, 6 and 1. Do you feel like maybe it was just some of the things you could get away with the last 3 weeks against those opponents? Just Minnesota was there to take advantage of some of those things.
To be honest, I thought we could win. I mean, that's the way I looked at it. I thought coming in, I thought what we wanted to do in all phases, we thought we had some really good chances. I mean, you look at what we did with the kickoff return. I mean, when we've been talking about it with Antonio's ability to run the ball, we got to give him a chance, and that's what the guys went out and did. Offensively, we got some explosive guys. You got to get the ball in their hands, and that's what we're trying to do. And then defensively, if we can get after the quarterback, we can make some things happen. And a couple times we got after him, and a couple times, they were able to protect him. Kurt made a couple of really nice throws, and he's got a couple of heck of really good football players on his side too.
Ron, what did you make of the crowd?
I thought it was excellent. I really do. I know there was a number of guys in purple, but that's okay. I thought our fans responded the way that we were hoping to get them to. And again, we just got to go out and keep playing hard football and good football, and hopefully they'll continue to come out and support us.
Bravo to the crowd. Seriously. I found myself smiling in the press box, and I don't do that often, unless I'm just talking to my colleagues, when I'm smiling. But I don't find myself often smiling, looking out at the stadium and watching the game. The crowd was amazing, and I just say, this fan base deserves so much. And so that one hurt. That one hurt because the Commanders had it. They really, really did. 2 things before we close out. Love button, fire emoji. If you have heard me say that AG needs to be the punt returner and the kick returner, give him more opportunities throughout the game to do that. Love button, fire emoji, if you have heard me say that. And I would also like to see a love button or a fire emoji if you have heard me say that Scott Turner is a problem. All right. With that being said, you all, another week has gone by, and we have continuously talked about the Commanders. This is week 9. They'll be playing in Monday Night Football. You all don't know, I would have loved to see the Commanders go on that 4-game winning streak and go up into Philly with that amped up juice, especially after how the defense played against a Kirk Cousins-led offense. It would have been really nice to get the W and take that into Philly. But no such luck. But we will see what happens next week as the Washington Commanders take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly for Monday Night Football. Okay? You all have a great one, and I'm going to see you guys again soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, caps. Bowie State.
My name's Seaborn, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.